So I've been asked a few times what changes I want for Oro in the final season balance patch. I'm going to start off with a couple of changes that I've heard other people suggest, which I think absolutely should not be in the game. I've seen some people say this should be an overhead, and TK Stomp also, this should be an overhead. If Capcom do either of those changes, then Oro would be broken and should be nerfed immediately. Making either of these overheads would completely break the character, because this becomes like an unreactable overhead that turns into 15,000 damage with Tengu up. So I see that suggestion a lot, that he needs more overheads. The answer is no, that would be ridiculous. What he does need is item number 1 on the list. This move, Quarter Cycle Back Light Kick, should not be -8. This thing on hit only does 60 damage and doesn't knock down. It leads to no knockdown, no Oki, nothing. It's just a little buffer off crouch medium kick. So the fact that this is -8 on block is insane, because tons of characters, including Ken, is a big issue. No matter how well you space it, there are lots of characters that can always punish this at max range. So this needs to go down from -8 to like -5 or something. I don't know the exact number that would be ideal, maybe -4. But yeah, -8 is way too much for such a unthreatening special that doesn't lead to anything. What else? Oh, one thing that I would like to see is the light version of hit grab. I think should get Oki. The weird thing about hit grab, because you can see I'm -2 after dash here. The weird thing about the hit grab is that light, medium, and heavy are all +15 on hit, but they do successively more damage, which is a very weird way of doing it, because it raises the question of why would you ever use the light or medium versions. No version of the hit grab gives Oki, but the heavy version does more damage, so there's no reason not to do the heavy version most of the time. So I think they should give the light version Oki so that I can like dash up here, and then I can choose between Oki and damage. Kind of like Ibuki. Ibuki has a very similar special to this, her hit grab rider. The light version gives you Oki, the heavy version gives you damage. And that makes sense, so that you can choose which version to use. In the case of Oro, none of them give Oki, but heavy gives the most damage, so it's not very well balanced between the 3 versions. So I think also EX as well should give Oki. The light and EX versions of the hit grab should all give like +2 situations after a dash. And the last change that I think Oro should have is that EX Tatsu, this, should have its startup reduced from 15 frames to 12 or 13 frames. Because it's one of his best special moves. It's one of the only ones that leads to a combo. But an issue it has is that it's not fast enough to confirm from crouch medium kick. So if you instant cancel crouch medium kick, it's a combo. But if you try and single hit confirm this, as you can see there, and delay cancel the crouch medium kick, it drops. If you make the EX Tatsu start up slightly faster, you'd be able to single hit confirm it from crouch medium kick, and also you'd be able to do it from jabs as well. Right now you can't combo jabs into EX Tatsu. So making EX Tatsu a little bit faster would make both of those things possible, which would be very nice buffs. In terms of nerfs, because I have just listed like 4 buffs in a row, I do think that Tengu should be toned down a little bit. It is a bit too good right now and a bit too easy to use. It's hard to nerf though without making it useless, so my suggestion for how to nerf Tengu would be to make it so that the very first time that stones connect in a combo counts as 1 extra move for scaling purposes. Because right now the way Tengu stones work is very unusual. The stones themselves aren't considered a move when it comes to scaling. So if you do like medium punch here into heavy punch, even though you've technically done 4 moves, you've done medium punch, stones, heavy punch, stones, the game only considers you to have done 2 moves for scaling purposes, medium punch and heavy punch, which is the reason why his Tengu combos do such obscene damage. So just a little bit of extra scaling on Tengu combos I think would probably be justified, so that overall the combos end up doing about 10 to 15% less damage at like max damage. So rather than being like 800 damage at max damage, they end up being like 700 under like perfect conditions. And that's like a DP punish with full meter. I think that would be reasonable if you got the buffs as well. Because the ultimate goal here is that EX Tatsu and all of these things mean that he's better as a character outside of V-Trigger, and then slightly worse in V-Trigger, so it kind of averages him out a bit more. Right now, Oro is too sort of like skewed in favor of comebacks. He's pretty bad outside of V-Trigger, and then broken in V-Trigger. I'd rather he just be kind of like good throughout the whole round, rather than broken for the last third of it. So yeah, that's what I would do to Oro in a balance patch scenario.